let's begin. So tonight I want to talk about death, doom, and destruction. Okay, so tonight I really want to talk about control and fears and how that really impacts us, as many of us being religious women. You know, it's something that I have a whole life story of how I became religious and how I came to it. I'm going to say that, God willing, at a different time. But I grew up very secular, and I went to public school, and there was never any real connection at home to anything Jewish, anywhere. There was no kosher, there was no Shabbos, there was no talk of God, there was no Shema Yisrael. We had mezuzot, and we had garinim, Israeli sunflower seeds, and we had Israeli newspaper, and we spoke Hebrew, but there was zero connection to anything that was religious whatsoever, at all. And as I got older, I'm not going to tell you my life story, but as I got older, I bumped into it because of some anti-Semitic thing that happened to me, that I was beat up. And I ended up stumbling into a yeshiva, and there I ended up stumbling into God. But as I got older, when I became religious, when anyone in the beginning becomes religious, and there's like this sense of okay, now that I'm religious, what's going to make me religious is that I have to eat gefilte fish, eat challanges, wear long skirts, keep Shabbat, and be extremely strict with myself in a lot of different areas, and that's what makes me religious. And it's only recently, I would say in the last about 3 years, that I all of a sudden got an inner look into what it really means to be connected. And that's what I want to talk about tonight. I want to talk about what it means to be connected, because connection comes from the inside. Not just connection to God and spirituality, that's by default once you're connected. Once you're connected, in other words, you're okay with yourself, and you're calm, and you love yourself, and no matter what's going on in your life, it doesn't bug you out, and doesn't freak you and throw you off your game constantly because it's not what you're expecting, or you don't like the results, or you're not happy with the outcomes, or you really want to manipulate the situation in order to make it better for you because you want that job, or you want that guy, or you want that situation, or you want your kid in that school, or whatever it may be. Right? So the pressure and the fear or the anxiety that comes along with life is not working the way I want it to work, right? That's what throws us off our game. So the idea in life, in the 70, 80, 90 years that we have in this world, is to be able to get to a place where life is always going to surprise me, because I have my script, which is elementary school, high school. If you're in the religious bubble circle, then seminary, Israel. And if not, then it's college. And then it's getting your BA, MA, and then it's getting that job, and then it's getting that amount of money, and then it's finding that guy, and then it's getting married, and it's pursuing a career, or whatever it may be. There's a script. We all have a script. What's your script? What you consider to be good. And it could be good, and it most likely is good, right? But we have a script. And that's what throws us off our game all the time. And I'm going to explain it because there's many questions on you're not supposed to have goals, you're not supposed to have dreams, how are you supposed to ever get anywhere in life if you don't have your script? But we're going to get into it in a little bit of a different way. What I want to talk about right now is a story. A story I heard from Rabbi Wallerstein many years ago, and this story really fits into what we're saying today. This is a true story that happened a while ago. It happened in Chicago. There was a little girl by the name of Miriam, and this little girl went to elementary school. She went to a Hebrew elementary school, a Hebrew kind of like a Sunday school, but it was a Hebrew school, and it was right across the street from their house. Her parents were very secular, and but they wanted their kids to get a Jewish education, to learn Hebrew, to know about Israel. So they sent her to the school across the street from their house. She went to this school. She loved this school. After 8th grade was over and she graduated, her parents wanted her to continue into a Jewish high school, but the only Jewish high school available was about an hour away. And there was no way that she was going an hour away. Her parents, there was no way for them to drive her there and drive her back, and they really wanted her to go to a private school. They did not want her to go to a public school. So what happened was that they found out that right across the street from their house, right around there was also a private Catholic school. And they thought to themselves, private Catholic, private Jewish, basically the same idea, same concept. And they sent Miriam to this private Catholic school. She goes to this private Catholic school for the first month or two. Slowly, she changes her name from Miriam to Mary because she just like it doesn't fit in. And she loves it, and she has a million friends, and she's doing amazing, and she loves her teachers, and she has great friends, and she falls in love after 10th grade. She falls in love with Tony, Anthony, and they become high school sweethearts. They become high school sweethearts, and they're completely in love. After 12th grade, they graduate, and they set a date for their wedding. The day of their wedding, Saturday afternoon, and she's in the limo on her way to the church. She's in the limo on the way to the church, and as she's sitting there, so excited in her wedding dress, she's going, her bridesmaids are around with her, they're so excited, they're, oh God, good day. They take out this stunning, gorgeous, big velvet box. They take it out and they give it to her. And she's like, oh my gosh, guys, what is this? She takes this back and she opens it up. She opens it up and she sees this stunning, gorgeous, gold and silver and diamond cross. Thick, gorgeous, big. And she takes it out and she's like, wow, I love it. She takes it out and she puts it on. And she's sitting in the limo and they're driving. They're on their way. As they're on their way, they hit a red light. And they're the first car by the red light. On the corner, there are 4 girls from Brooklyn. 4 girls from Brooklyn. Why are they there in Chicago? They're there because there is a JEP Shabbaton. A JEP Shabbaton is basically, it's an organization that takes Jewish kids from public schools and it gives them a Shabbos experience. So they'll take them on a Shabbaton and they'll spend tons of money on them and they'll go rollerblading and they'll do crazy fun trips and then they'll have an amazing Shabbos and then after Shabbos they'll have an amazing concert and then after that they'll keep in touch with them to give them some kind of Jewish connection. So they have 4 religious girls from Brooklyn, okay, that are counselors on this Shabbaton, standing on the corner, severely lost, like beyond lost. You know those maps that they give out by the Shabbaton that you're not exactly sure what these things are? You're just like, there is the name of a street somewhere, but you're not sure what it says. So they're all like looking at the map, and one of them is like, I'm telling you, it's this way. And the other one's like, no, it's that way. And she's like, no, you're out of your mind. It's this way. You have no idea what you're talking about. And the 4th girl is just like, I am not listening to any of this anymore. Everyone stop. I'm getting directions. And she walks up to the limousine, and she sticks her head in the limo. And there sitting Mary. And she says to her, hi, congratulations. I'm so sorry to bother you. I just have one tiny favor. Can you please just point me in the direction of the Hebrew Day School of Greater Chicago? And Mary looks at her and she says, sure, I went there for elementary school. I'll tell you exactly where it is. So the girl at the window was like, no, it's the Hebrew Day School of Greater Chicago. She's like, no, I know exactly where it is. I was there for elementary school. Let me tell you how to get there. So the girl at the window is just like, her jaw is down, right? And she realizes that this girl is Jewish. And she says to her, so what's your name? And she says to her, my name is Mary, but my Hebrew name is Miriam. And she's like, oh my gosh, my Hebrew name is also Miriam. And they're standing by the window schmoozing. Right? She's trying to stall her to figure out what to do. Oh my gosh, she sees the whole picture. She sees what's going on. And meanwhile, the light is turning from red to green to red to green. And the bridesmaids are starting to get very, very nervous. Like, Mary, we really have to go. Maybe just let them jump in. We'll drive them there. And Mary's like, no, they can't. It's Sabbath. They can't get in the car. So the girl at the window, Miriam, is just like, so she says, how about we drive there and you walk behind us. We'll drive there and you'll just walk behind the limo. She says, great idea. So the 4 of them are walking behind the limo. The limo gets to the shul. They get to the shul and Miriam walks up to Mary and she says to her, you know, normally you get married once in your lifetime. And today's your day. Why don't you come inside and get a blessing from the rabbi? And she says to her, look at me. I'm barely dressed. I can't go inside. She's like, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Just take off the cross and come in. And she says, I don't know. I'm so late and I have to be there already. Like, can I come after? Like, she's like, once in your lifetime, come inside and get a blessing from the rabbi. And she says, you know what? Okay. And she takes off her cross and she leaves it on the seat. And she goes in. I'm not sure which rabbi it was. But she didn't come out for over an hour. And then after an hour, she comes out. And she looks at her friends and she tells her friends, I didn't think this through well enough. I don't know if I can do this. I didn't realize what this meant long term. I feel like I'm still young and I feel like I'm not sure. I'm not going through with this. Fast forward. A bunch of seminary girls are in Israel, and in Israel, you know how it is in Israel. You go away for Shabbos. To who? To strangers. And you pray that there's food to eat and that you're not sleeping on the floor with dogs. I've had that. So she goes away for Shabbos, and these 4 girls are sitting in someone's living room. These 4 seminary girls, 18-year-old seminary girls, are sitting in someone's living room, and all of a sudden, they see that the wife, the mother of the house, is walking down the stairs wearing like a full-fledged wedding gown, like the whole thing, the train and all. And they're like looking at each other, like, okay, this is gonna be a weird Shabbos. She's weird. She's playing dressed up. That's fun. Okay, so they're like looking at her like, good Shabbos, good Shabbos. And she's like, hi girls, good Shabbos. And she walks up to her candles and she does a thing, and they're just like all like almost giggling, and they can't hold it back because she's wearing a costume, right? She looks like Queen Esther. And afterwards she sits down, she talks to them, and she's like pulling her train from behind, she like sits down and talks to them, and they can't help it. And one of them is just like, can I just please ask you a question? And she's like, of course. And she says, why are you wearing a wedding gown? And Mary goes to tell her life story. And Mary tells her, a long time ago, my life was seconds away from being completely different than it is today. Today I live in Jerusalem. Today I'm married to an amazing person that learns God's Torah. We raise our children accordingly. But I was seconds away. And the only difference between my life now and that would have life was the fact that my window was rolled down and the fact that I didn't roll it up. So I made a promise to God that because He saved me on this day, I will forever remember that day. And so I fixed up my wedding gown and I wear it every single Friday night to remind myself that my life could have gone in a completely different way. I could have been married to Tony and chewing bubble gum and living in downtown Brooklyn. But this is my life now. And Rabbi Wallace said something amazing, and he said something like this. He said that oftentimes in our life we have direction. This is what I'm doing. I just spoke to someone. That told me, and to me it's I'm so not like that it's comical to me just because of who I or what I am. She said that her 11-year plan is like this, and she spelled out her 11-year plan. I don't know what like next week is going to be like, or I don't remember what happened 3 days ago. So like 11-year plan to me, I'm like, wow, we are so different. I'm so happy you're my sister because it's good. We balance out the world. But oftentimes we have this like plan. We have this script. This is what I want. This is what I want for my kids. This is what I want for my husband. This is what I want for our future. This is where I want to live. This is what I want to make a year, right? And those things are important. And this is what I want to talk about now. I want to talk about, and we're going to tie it into the story, and you're going to understand how the story fits in and how we all, in a way, if we would live like Mary lives, if we would live like Miriam lives, we would be in a whole different place with ourselves. Because what she did was that she didn't roll up her window. She didn't say, you know what, honey? Ask the next guy because I have somewhere to be. She didn't roll up her window. She kind of like went with the flow. Went with the flow of where life was taking her. God interceded and she went with it. So here's what I want to talk about tonight. I want to talk about, I don't know how much time we have. Anybody know what time this is over? Is it supposed to be over? No? 9:30? Okay. If you have to go, then feel free. Okay. This is what I want to talk about. The title of the class is Start the Year in a Way That is Guaranteed to Change Your Life. Now, what I want to say here is that there are 100% guarantees in certain paths and directions in life. There are certain things that work and certain things that don't work. Okay? There are certain ways, and I also, like I said in my video before the class, that you have someone that is an overeater, that he is 500, 600 pounds. There is a way for him to live a different life. He just has to be able to go through A, B, C, and D in order to be able to get there. The challenges along the way are irrelevant at that point, because what has to happen is that he has to go from here to here if he wants to live and survive and lead a healthy and meaningful life, right? There are going to be challenges, but the idea is that it's possible. In other words, that if I am able to go according to a plan, and a plan that is guaranteed to work, I will get from A to Z. I will get from my point to another point, to the place I want to be in. Many times we complicate things, especially being women. We complicate things. We make them much more complicated than they are. And it's very, very, very simple once we understand the basics. What are the basics? What are the basics? The basics are like this. First of all, I'm bringing in from a few different places, mainly from Rabbi Nachman, because I find that I'm not Breslov per se, I'm not Chabad, I'm not Hasidish, I'm not Litvish, I'm not anything. I gravitate towards things that work, towards practical advice. I want to be able to advance in my life, be able to go through the challenges and be able to still remain awesome, because that's what I want to get to. I want to get to awesomeness, right? So being that that's the situation, that's where I want to get to, and these things work. They're practical. So let me take you a little bit into Kabbalah right now. I'll give you fundamentals of Kabbalah, a few fundamentals. So once you have these foundations, once you understand this concept, you'll understand many, many more concepts, God willing, as we get to know each other, as we go further. This, what I'm about to teach you, has completely changed my life, from A to Z. Last year, about 15 months ago, I was in a situation where I had to make a decision. And the decision was something that I pushed off for so long because I couldn't face the decision. Whenever I would think about the decision, I would start to shake. Physically, my body would start to shake. I would drive and I would think about it and my whole body would start to shake. So 15 months ago, it was do or die. If you don't decide now, then you will forever be miserable. And I decided at that point that even though I never thought this was going to happen to me in my entire life, I was so certain that this was not me, not my script, for sure not. I was in a place where I had to make this decision, and I made it. The decision was to leave my marriage. And I left it. And once that was over, and once all the dust settles, then you're left. Then you're left with a new life and a new reality. And yeah, for sure, there's probably potential in the future, but you're kind of in the right now. And now what? Right? Baruch Hashem. Probably the hardest time of my life. And the roughest time of my life. But I have to say that if it wasn't for what we're about to learn tonight, I wouldn't be sitting here. I wouldn't be sitting here so put together, for sure not. And I wouldn't be in Florida, and I wouldn't be smiling, and I wouldn't have taken my life to the direction that I wanted it to get to, so I wanted it to go in. And I think that over the last 15 months, the awareness that I've gained because of the struggle I haven't gained probably in years and years and years and years and years and years and years in my life. So a little bit, the harder the crash, the bigger the potential. So let's begin, because I want to give this to you. I've been teaching this, once I started putting this into work and I saw that it's life-changing and it happens like that, once I realized that this is life-changing and this path is real and it affects you the second you start doing it, I started teaching it to droves and droves of women on the phone from all over the world, from Australia and from Israel and from England and all over Europe and America and everywhere. I started teaching it in teleconferences and teleconferences and teleconferences and teleconferences all over the world. And people have had miracles happen to them because of these concepts. So again, what we're learning tonight is not a nice shiur. It's you want to change your life, you want to get unstuck, you want to get out of that stuckness in your life that you don't know how to get past. You have to know that if you apply certain rules, it will happen. And it happens, and it's guaranteed. And it's guaranteed. So all I want to say to you, sister, is that if I could have come out of the gutter, then it's possible. It's possible. And it's doable. You just have to want to not be a victim. Enough. The pain of staying the same has to be greater than the pain of change. And once that pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change, you will kick yourself in the rear end and say, let's go now. Now. Because I can't stand myself one more day. I can't stand these thoughts one more day. I can't live in this reality one more day, in this stuckness. Yes, I have issues, and yes, I have problems, and no, I don't know how to deal with them. But digging them further and further into my reality by thinking about it, or crying about it, or complaining about it, or kvetching about it, or talking to people about it, or making myself crazy about it, is only going to make it worse. So if we want to see a positive change, oftentimes people don't. I'm a life coach and I work with people one-on-one. And I know in a minute, after like 10 minutes, if she just wants to be a victim or she wants to be a victor. She wants to be able to say, this is my package, this is my garbage, this is the stuff that I don't like, this is where I'm stuck. I want to be able to climb this mountain, I want to be able to succeed, I want to be able to be victorious. Or this happened to me, and 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 it's all we all can become victims. It just depends on how we process. So we're going to learn new ways of processing tonight with the 26 minutes that we have left on the clock. But it's good. 26 is a good number. So we're going to start. And obviously, what I'm starting to teach you right now is really about 8 classes long. But once you know these 8 classes solid, and you're going to go home and you're going to start teaching it to your husband and your friends, and that's what happens. Okay? It's concepts. It's super duper concepts that, yeah, you should take notes on, for sure. I'm going to come next week, I'm going to come with it all typed up for you. Okay? So that way you can just give it out, and on your paper you can take notes on the side. Okay. But what I want to say is that in our minds, it has to be so clear that if your child has an ear infection and you get an antibiotics, then it will work, right? Right? It's clear to you as a mother that that's how it goes. That if your child has an ear infection, he needs antibiotics in order to be able to heal, to get better. Right? It's the same way. You have to know that there is a solution, there is a medicine, there is a remedy for your situation, for your stuckness. And I'm saying it in a way that I'm certain that every single one of you sitting in this room and every single one of you watching this video is 100% stuck somewhere. 100% stuck somewhere. We're all stuck. Why are we stuck? Because we're alive. And if we're alive, that means that we're stuck with ourselves somewhere. And we have to know that every stuckness is a blessing. Because the reason that you're stuck there is because God wants you to look at something there. He wants you to look at something there. So you call this one and you pull those strings and you try that, protect you, that pull here. And you do this and you try to manipulate the situation and you try to control the outcome, but it's not working and you feel like there's a wall in front of you. And the reason for that is because he's trying to show you something. He's trying to take you somewhere. He's trying to take you somewhere. And towards the end of my married life, it was like I did everything but what I'm about to teach you. And the more I did everything but and called this person and that person and this person and that person and tried a million things, the more I did that and the less I looked inward at what I really want, the more complicated the situation got. And the worse it got. And the more stuck I felt. And the more imprisoned I felt. So it's important for us to know that it isn't always, sometimes you're like, sometimes when you have a conversation with a smart person, do you remember this just happened. This man, Dr. Feldman, that was just nifter from the community, from here. No? This doctor, Dr. Feldman, who was a great person, he was a righteous person. He helped hundreds and hundreds of families here. And I had just gotten to Florida, right, when I got in touch with him. And my friend gave me his number, and she told me to call him. Now, my friend is very sketchy. Like, I don't understand why she does certain things. Like, she'll just write a number on a piece of paper and a name and then like a heart. Call him. And she'll do that. So I was like, hi, my name is Devorah, and I just wanted to talk to you. He's like, sure, what about? What do you do? And he's like, I'm a psychotherapist. I'm like, oh, I'm okay. I'm fine. And he's like, who sent you? I'm like, I said her name. And he's like, oh, she sent you. Okay, why? I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea why I'm talking to you on the phone right now. And then he goes, this is my first and only conversation with this man that a few weeks later got into a terrible car accident and passed away. Just like 2 weeks ago. Yeah. And then he goes on this like 5-minute like excavation. How do you say it? Like a scavenger hunt with me. Okay, so where are you from? New York. Why are you here? I don't know. I moved here a few weeks ago because my family moved here. Okay. Okay, let me think why she, and he's thinking in his head why she would have connected. What do you do? I'm a speaker and a teacher. Oh, you're a speaker. Go back. What do you speak about? Life. Life. From where? From Torah. Life from Torah. Yes. And I'm like feeling so stupid because he's like this wise old man. I'm like sitting in my car talking to you. Why did I even dial? Right? And then he finally gets to the point. He's like, oh! Okay, this is what the situation, and the whole time he was just asking me like questions that were not connected to each other, like felt like it had nothing to do with anything. I was just giving him information, and then he said, okay, this is why she made you call me, because I'm about to go on a worldwide speaking tour, and I'm looking for a female partner that can come on this tour with me for a few weeks. So I was like, oh really? That sounds great. Tell me more. And that's why she connected us, right? It didn't work out. He's in a better place now, thank God. But you know when you talk to people that are super smart, and you ask them a question and they'll answer you with a question, and you're like, where are you going with this? And they're like, you're being direct, and they're coming from the back door. They're like answering you from here, and then like your brain is like thinking like, wait, what's happening, right? Like I'm not following his train of thought. And then all of a sudden you come out with like a really good answer, or you feel like you're clear about something. It happens often when you talk to like great people, right? They're not going to be like, you're going to be like, should I do this? And they're going to be like, yes or no. They're going to start like sensing you and feeling you, and then they're going to start asking you questions here, and then they're going to be like, a lot of people today ask you for your handwriting, or they're going to come at you from different. So what happened when you were a little girl? Or why are you so fearful? And all of a sudden, like out of the blue, they're asking you for questions. They're asking you questions that were not connected or related to what you were coming to them for, right? So oftentimes, when you encounter someone like that, you see that they have a bigger picture. You see that they're seeing the world from a different perspective. You see how their brain works. You get a glimpse. The idea is in our lives is if X happens, a response from me is usually not going to be something that is going to be beneficial, is going to work. In other words, there has to be a back door entrance. If I'm able to respond to life from a back door entrance, from a way that is much smarter, much more wholesome, right? As opposed to just responding to the situation that I'm in, right? Knee-jerk reactions to the situations that I'm in. But being able to step back and say, okay, this is happening right now. And this is happening again. And where is it triggering me? Oh, it's triggering me there. In my fear, in my low self-esteem, in my closeness, in my whatever it might be, right? So that's what's happening. So instead of reacting, right, what we're going to learn tonight, if we're ever going to get to it, what we're going to learn tonight is how to get in from the back door, how to be able to analyze yourself from a more objective situation, from a bird's eye view, to be able to say, no, I'm not going to go down that path again, because every single time I go down that path, I screw myself over. So I'm not going to do that now. I'm going to do this, because this works. It's like let's take the overweight example. It's the guy that's overweight that's going to say to himself, no, I'm going to stop eating at 7. And then at 7, at 8, at 9, at 10, he has the munchies. And he wants to eat. So if the guy has a full fridge and cabinets full of food, then there's no question that he will fail. There's no question that there's no way that he's going to be able to withstand that. There's just no way. But if he knows himself, and he knows that at 10 o'clock at night, that's when he gets the munchies, he's going to know that he's not going to have all the things that he likes. He's going to have lettuce, he's going to have carrots, and he's maybe going to have a can of peas. That's all he's going to have in his cabinet, right? At that point of the day. There's nothing else. He's not going to give himself options because he wants the goal so much. So question number 1 you have to ask yourself is like this. How badly do I want to get unstuck, or do I want to continue complaining about my situation? And it's a real question. Because I complained for a long time until the pain of change was greater than the pain of staying the same. I'm sorry, vice versa. The pain of staying the same was greater than the pain of change. Okay? So, question you have to ask yourself, number 1 is, am I for real serious about stopping to complain and getting a grip of my life and getting on top of the horse, and instead of letting the horse ride me, riding the horse, riding my life, being in charge, not letting my fears, my anxiety, my stresses, all the people around me control me, but instead being in control of my life, my expressions, my reactions. And it's a real sincere question that you have to ask yourself, because not everyone's ready. Not everyone's ready. People want to stay, want to stay there. It's called a misery comfort zone. Something that I learned from my teacher in Israel. Misery comfort zone. We all have it. It's the place that's like miserable, but we're so comfortable with it for so long. We're so comfortable complaining about it and crying about it and not being happy about it. Our weight, our health, our relationships, our low self-esteem, whatever it may be, we're so comfortable there. Like to get us out of there is gonna require some kind of a miracle. That's how it feels. There's not enough of I want to get out of this. I want to be on top of the world. I want to have an awesome life. I want to be on fire. I had enough of this self-pitying, sulking, victim, oh my gosh, the world feel bad for me for everything I've gone through. Yes, I've gone through those things, and I'm going to use those things, I'm going to harness those things to get ahead in my life. That's what I want. I don't know how I'm going to get there, and it's not relevant at all, but that's what I want. So you got to have to make your wants clear first. Hey, what do you want? And be honest. Not cognitively, what do you want? Emotionally, what do you want? And it's okay to be like, I'm not ready yet. And if you want, I can yell at you after class, and then you'll maybe be ready. Because sometimes we just really, really need a kick in the rear end. Sometimes we just need to be like, slap. Life is so short, and we can make it great. Okay? And it very, very much depends on our time and what we do with our time. Okay, so here we go. Let's begin. Again. Okay. So here's a few tools. Number 1. Ready? I've never taught this before. This specific thing I'm teaching you right now, I've never taught it before. But this is my new thing, and I'm every time I wake up in the middle of the night thinking about it. Sometimes. I'm just so excited about it that I all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, so awesome. It really is making my life a very nice place to live these days. So, what's the thing? The thing is like this. Lo alecha amlacha ligmor. Lo alecha hamelacha ligmor. It says in the Torah, you are not in charge of the end results. Forget about the end results. Forget about the outcomes. Don't busy yourself with the outcomes. What's going to be? How are we going to pay? What's going to happen? Who am I going to marry? Where am I going to end up? What's going to be if? Forget it. You know why forget it? Because you're not psychic. You have no way of being psychic, and you're not even allowed to go to psychic. So there's no point in entertaining that, because you know what that does to you? It drives you into your grave, miserable, makes you sad, hopeless, afraid, scared, fearful, overwhelmed, stressed, alone. That's how it makes you feel. And it isolates you from the world. You don't want to see anyone. You don't want to experience it. No one understands you. You're all alone. Okay? Everyone is an outsider somewhere. So when that happens, everyone turns into an outsider. And the people that you let in are very, very, very select people. And if they're not there all the time for you when you need them, forget them. X. Or if they're not listening to you exactly the way you need them to listen to you, forget them. X. Has nothing to do with them. It has to do with our emotional state, where we're at that point. So outcomes and results have nothing to do with you. And you know what? God even tells us, don't worry about it. Don't even think about it. It's not on your shoulders. I got this. Don't think about it. You want to have a successful life? Don't think about the outcome. Where are you supposed to be? Where is your focus supposed to be? Where's your energy supposed to be? Where's your strength supposed to be? And in your life, it's supposed to be on what you want and how you're going to make that happen. Your focus and your energy is supposed to be on your goals. We all are supposed to have dreams. We should all have dreams. We should all have visions of where we want to go and what we want to do and what we want to build with the time that we have on this planet. Okay? Until we become old ladies that will have a harder time moving. Okay? But till then, we have this time. So what do I want to do with this time? And that's what I'm supposed to be thinking about. And that's what I'm supposed to be working towards. How that's going to end up, where that's going to go, where that's going to lead me to, has nothing to do with me. Has nothing to do with you. All the what's going to be, all that is called, that's one thing. And that is basically you mingling, eating from the palms of what Rabbi Nachman describes as the Sitra Achra, of the Samch Mem, of the Yetzer Hara, of the Satan, of the dark side, of the evil in this world. Because you can't be in two places at once. So if you're there, you're in the worry, you're in the fear, you're in the stress, you're in the what's going to be tomorrow, how am I going to pay the bills? If you're there, then you know where you can't be. If you're focused on the problem, you know where you can't be. You can't be focused on the solution. You can't be in a place that's going to take you to where you actually want to get to. You can't be in the place of being creative and thinking of ways and being in the moment and being joyful in your life for what is. And I'm going to explain how these things, these energies, impact you hugely, hugely. Okay? Because if you're there, you can't be here. And you know what happens while you're there? You make yourself sick. Physically, you get older. Physically, your body gets older and more worn. They have TED Talks. You should watch these TED Talks. I was supposed to get the name of the TED Talk. I will get it for next time, God willing. They have TED Talks about how anxiety and stress and negative thinking, what it does to you physically. And how cancer comes from it. And problems with thyroids come from it. And it's literally proven. It's medically proven that it's linked. This is not like some kind of psychobabble. This is for real. The Torah said it 3,000 years ago, and science is bringing it up today. It's for real. What goes on in here not just affects marriage, kids, home. What goes on in here literally creates your life. How does that happen? What are you talking about? So before we get further, I want to talk about one specific thing. And this thing, I feel like I'm giving you a present here, right? Love it, hug it, go to sleep with it, wake up with it. Okay? This present, if you understand this, and you for real take this course that we're starting tonight for the next whatever amount of weeks. If you take this course and make it like your Bible, your holy Bible, and you live by it, breathe by it, I guarantee you, in 6 weeks, your life will be different. And if you have any problems, you can come back. I will give you your money back. Your $5. So there's a lot on the line here, okay? I mean, no, I would never, ever, ever say it if it was me. It's not me. I'm bringing it from the Holy Torah, from Mipi Hashem. It's not me. Okay, so that's why I'm able to say, yeah, and sound like the man, but it's not me. Okay, so here's the formula. Here's the formula. So point number one, outcomes. If you're there, you're not in the process of building. You're not in the process of being in the present. What happens in the present? In the present, especially us as women, okay, we're flooded with thoughts. Thoughts. We're always thinking. And where does our mind always go? Where does it always go? 99% of the time. If you're trying to be positive, if you're a positive person or you're trying to be positive, but oftentimes where does our mind go?
The future.
Where?
The future.
Future. But also what else? Where else? What? Of course. The half glass empty. You have to be realistic. You have to be realistic. You have to be able to say, 1 second, I can't just be positive. I had students that were like, Devorah, this is retarded. I'm sorry. But this is crazy. You can't always be positive. That's ridiculous. You have to be worried. I'm like, really? You have to be? Why, because you're Jewish? No, you don't have to be. You know what? It's almost an avera to be. It's so energetically bad for you to be worried, to be in fear, to be in anxiety, to be in stress. It's so energetically bad for you. It so impacts you on so many levels. It so blocks you on so many levels that it's the wrong thing. We're just so used to it. Complaining and kvetching and all. What else do you talk to your friends about? If not to call her up and complain about your kid, about your husband, about your life, about your situation, about your acne. What else? Right? What else do you talk about? How lovely everything is and how great everything is. Now, okay, and but we have a tremendous amount of potential to be able to come out of that, because it's becomes so a part of us that we don't even realize that that's what's holding us back from our greatness. So point number 1 is like this. We are able to come out of seeing our lives from the realistic half-empty glass. The half-empty glass of being in all the places that I said, all the negative places, all the negative thoughts, all the thoughts of myself not being good enough and no one really likes me, or I don't know how to have friends, or I don't know how to be in a relationship, or I don't know, I'm not cut out for this, or I'm not a good mom, or I don't know how to make money, or I don't know how to all the things that we carry around with us, right? All of our beating ourselves up all the time, all of our being so harsh on ourselves, and viewing ourselves in a harsh way. I just want to give you a tip. If you don't know if you view yourself harshly, notice how you view others. If everyone that walks past you, you're like, 5 seconds ago I liked you, but now I don't. And you're thinking in your head why she's annoying, or why she's whatever it is that's passed into your head, or why you've just dismissed her. You have to know that that hammer that you just knocked her over the head with is the same hammer you use on yourself. Because when a person is good to themselves and loves themselves and says, you know what, I just messed up. I just yelled at my kid. Okay, I yelled at my kid. You know what, I didn't eat for a while, and something happened today that stressed me out. Next time I know that when my kids come home, I have to make sure that I'm going to eat something first, and maybe do some breathing before they walk in the door. And if homework is a stressful thing, then for sure not take it out of their bag if I didn't eat and something happened today. For sure not, because this child will never ever want to do homework again if he sits down with me today. And so, but to be okay. Just like if your best friend yelled at her kid like crazy because he doesn't know what 1 + 1 is, and how stupid can you be if you're in 2nd grade and you don't know what 1 + 1 is yet, okay? And just like degrading him. If your best friend would show you the video of what happened during homework time, then if you're a good friend, you would be like, okay, listen, I know that overall you're a good person. I know overall you're an amazing mom. The situation was as is because of your whatever. Your child still loves you. You're still great. Don't worry. Do better tomorrow. Don't put yourself in the same situation, okay? Let's have a coffee.
They also say that if we judge someone based on what they are, that you think that they are, and you are going to be judged that way as well upstairs. So when you are harsh with other people, then you are going to be judged in that way as well. So as we judge others, realize that you're going to be judged in the same level.
Yes.
So you always have to be kind with everyone.
Yes. Right. 100%, right? Because we Shemayim mirrors us. So how we are, that's what we're going to get back. That's what we're going to see, right? That's what we're going to end up seeing in our lives. If my life is harsh and my life is difficult and my life is it's unforgivable and everything that happens to me is difficult, and every parnasa comes to me hard, and friendships come to me hard, and relationships come to me hard, and I'm feeling hard, most of the time it's because my approach A, to myself is harsh, and B, to others is harsh. You don't have a harsh approach with others if you're open-hearted with yourself. If you're open-hearted with yourself, you're open-hearted with the world. And if you're open-hearted with the world, then you get that kind of reflection back. But that's another thing. That's another story. Okay? So the reason I'm going so slow, because usually I speak so fast and I'm like, whatever, is because I really want to build this up. And I'm no rush. So I hope you're not in a rush. I really want to build this up in a very, very solid way for us to understand that these are the concepts. The concepts are like this. Number one, understand that you have to know if you want to. Okay? If you want to. If you do want to. And the second thing you have to know is that your relationship with yourself, the way you are with yourself, the way you forgive yourself and love yourself and look at yourself, has everything to do with how happy you will be in your life. Everything to do with how your relationships will go, how your marriage is, how your relationships with the kids are. Everything to do with it. If you are harsh with yourself, and if you tell yourself, I have to become better, I have to give more tzedakah, I have to daven more, I can't believe I yelled at my kid, I can't believe I whatever. If you're like that with yourself, you're going to be like that with the people around you. And if you're like that with the people around you, that's the experience you're going to have in your life. You have to learn how to let yourself know that you are human, and it's okay, and don't worry, and there's always tomorrow, or there's always a little bit later, or let's start again in an hour. Let's have a chill, and let's start again in an hour. Gedalia always says this, and it's something that I love and love and love, and I've started practicing, and I love it. You can start, he says that Rabbi Nachman says, you can start over all the time. That's what's awesome about it. You can start over all the time. What does that mean? This afternoon, the reason that I give you that example is because it just happened a few hours ago. This afternoon, my older son comes home from school, and it's after I picked them up. He's turning 6, and my younger one is just turned 4. Madison, so cute. And hi, no, it's okay. It's all women here. So they're like, great. Can we come in? He comes home from school, and he doesn't ever want to do homework. So I'm like, sweetie, take out your homework. Sweetie, take out your homework. Sweetie, take out your homework. Sweetie, take out. No, today I didn't eat anything until 3:30 because I had a busy morning and day. And by the time I was telling him to take out his homework, I was shaking, like making noodles. Shaking, right? And he's like, can I do it later? What? He's in the bathroom, comes out. Did you flush? Go back. Okay. Right? Then he comes out, he's like, okay, I'm going to get my homework. He takes out his homework, he puts it on the table. Okay. No, he's not Down syndrome, but sometimes, yeah. So anyway, so he's like, it's ripping, it's this, it's coloring on it. I'm like, stop! What are you doing? Let's start your homework. Okay, let's start your homework. Okay. Write Daled. So he writes Daled. Can I watch Mickey Mouse? No, you cannot watch Mickey Mouse. Write Daled. Done. I'm like, that's not a Daled. That's Chinese. That's not Daled. Write it again. And he's luckily with a pencil. So I came from the kitchen. I put my noodle thing down, right? And I got an eraser and I was like, this is not a Daled! This is not a Daled! This is, right? And he's like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm fine. Write a Daled. And he's writing it. We went on for like 45 minutes with the Daled. Okay? The eraser was done. By the time homework was done, he couldn't, and he knows how to write it. So, in that moment when I was like, the heat. I was almost gonna be like, I was gonna call him stupid or something like really crazy. I walked into my pantry, I closed the door, and my baby's like, my 4-year-old is like, Ima, why are you in the closet? I'm like, I'll be out in a second. And I just said, God, I don't want to get angry. Let me start again. I want to start again. And meanwhile, he's like, I'm done with the Daleds! And I'm like, oh dear God, no more Daleds. So I walked out. They all look like Zions, but it's okay. So then afterwards, after I begged for my life, for not to get upset at this child and not to just throw him into his room and lock him up, it worked. It took like an hour. And I went to my room and I did because then there was English homework and cutting and pasting and this whole thing. And I was like, Really, you'll see. When there's first grade homework, you will understand what I'm talking about. You would rather do college over than do homework. So there's like all this, right? And it worked. And it worked. Why? Because I can start over. We can start over at any point of the day. Any point of the day, you say stop. Like you press the tape recorder, you press stop, stop, stop. You're going in there again. You're going into that place of trigger. You're going into that place of stress. You're going into that place of anger. You're going to that place of frustration. You're going into that place. You're going right in, and you know yourself. You know when that topic comes up. You know when that child walks in. You know when this situation happens. You know that every single time your husband says that word, okay, or he brings up that boss or that job or that money thing or whatever it is, or your mom calls or your mother-in-law calls or any of those things, you know where that puts you. You know the state that you're in. The goal is to one-up yourself. The goal is in that moment, and even if you messed up, even if you already yelled and you already complained or you already gossiped or you already did whatever, you hung up the phone on her face or whatever you did, or you yelled at your kid or you punished him or whatever happened and you were a mad woman, even in that moment, you stop and you say, I want to start again. I want to start again. I don't want to go down this path anymore. I don't want to be angry. I don't want to be angry. I don't want to be upset. I don't want to be stressed. I want to be happy. I want to be focused on joy. I want to be focused on gratitude. I want to be focused on what I have. No. Hashem, help me. Open my heart. And it works. Because it says, "V'derech she'adam rotze lalech, molichin oto." In the way that you want, in the way that you desire for your life to go, for your life to be, and that way you're escorted, you're directed, you're taken. You just have to want it. And don't think like, whatever, it's too late, I'm a mess. You're never a mess. You're a mess in the moment. And you can pull yourself out of the mess in a second. So that's one of the things that has really, really given me hope. Because you want to be good, and then you crash. And you do something crazy. And you gossip for like hours, or you're like so angry, or you're so whatever, and you lose yourself. And you go into that negative state, and you go into that pessimistic state, and you're just like in that place. And you have to be able to tell yourself at one point, somewhere in the middle is, okay, let me start over now. Let me look like a crazy bipolar person and come to the point where, I'm sorry, that wasn't nice. Let me come to the place where I'm aware of my situation, and I'm okay. I'm gonna one up myself, and just stop. Even if you have to apologize, and even if you look stupid, and even if just stop, and it works. So that's a side point, okay? And the point that I'm going to give you right now, that with this we're going to end, is the point about thoughts, machshavot. And if you can meditate on this a whole week, this will guide you in your life incredibly. Okay. Koch HaMachshava, the power of thoughts. The power of thoughts is brought down scientifically. Okay? If you ever heard of Tony Robbins, speaks a lot about that. Okay? And our Holy Torah talks a tremendous amount of what is the power of thought. The power of thought, now we have to understand that there's energies. There are energies. Sometimes you know that there are certain times when you feel someone in the room with you, or you feel like someone's looking at you, right? You feel like someone's looking at you, and you're like, look around, all of a sudden you notice that guy across the street is looking at you, or the car next to you at the red light is looking at you, but you felt it. Why? Because there's energy. There's energy that we feel, that we sense. It's not just what we touch and what we experience here in a physical way, but we're very sensitive to energy. Some people are much more sensitive to energy, and once you become aware of your energies, you'll all of a sudden notice that you're picking up on things all the time. Okay? There are energies, there are channels of energies that our soul is connected to. And it's called Hishtalshelut. The Kabbalah talks about Hishtalshelut. There are many worlds on top of us, and we get to our neshama here, down in this world, in Olam Asiyah, in this final world, we get energies from up above. What kind of energies? Where do we get these energies from? What are these energies? There are energies that if we tap into them, they will change our lives for the better, and there are energies that if we tap into them, they will close us and create blockages around us. I wanted to say that of some of those energies, and I wrote them down here, okay? And if you want sources, I can give you sources. Some of those energies, the energies that block us, God forbid, from relationships, from good marriages, from having children, from having children. I had a lady start to take my course on what we're about to learn, right? So over the next, I had a lady that she came into the class. She said, Devorah, she's a religious lady from Bar Park, and she said to me, Devorah, I am at my wit's end. There is nothing and no one that can help me. I am unable to have a child. And then I had this whole conversation with her in the beginning. How much do you want it? Do you want to continue fetching about it, or do you really, really want it? And she made it very clear that she really wants it and she'll do anything for it. I said, okay, great. So take this course, do exactly what I'm telling you to do, and I'll see you in 6 weeks. And 2 months after the course, she got pregnant, and she is due next week. And she's due next week. So, and she's had years and years and years of trying, and it didn't work. Why? Because there are certain energies that if we hold on